replaced. 168 projects that will improve traffic flow and safety, and all told, it'll total up to nearly 1,200 projects that will be happening across the state just this year. One of the more major projects currently in progress is right here behind me. We affectionately call that ClearPath 465. This project started last year, and upon its completion in 2025, will improve the safety and traffic flow on both I-465 and I-69, transforming one of the state's busiest interchanges with high-speed and high-capacity ramps that will reduce weaving movements and merging and make traveling through this area much more safe for the motoring public. Not all projects are of this magnitude, of course. Projects of smaller scale will be aimed at maintaining existing infrastructure as outlined in Governor Holcomb's plan. The same goes for safety in those work zones as well, all across our state. At INDOT and in our industry as a whole, safety is the top priority. It's always top of mind. Safety is a topic that gets discussed daily, not just during times like National Work Zone Safety Week, but also it's part of the reason we're here today, to remind you when traveling in work zones and traveling through work zones, whether big or small, to drive carefully, to slow down, to obey the posted speed limits, to avoid distractions, put the phones down, and pay attention to driving in the roadway. This year's theme for Work Zone Awareness Week is Work With Us. Even with all the efforts related to safety, there were 31 fatalities in work zones across the state last year. As well, there were 1,400 injury crashes. Our goal is to reduce those numbers to zero. VDOT has implemented and supported a number of programs that improve not only worker safety, but safety of the traveling public. Most notably in recent times, our Protect the Queue program. The deployment of queue trucks and queue warning systems to alert drivers of queues and backups, and to watch slow or stop traffic. The agency has also been active with industry partners, as well as state and local law enforcement, in a bill at the legislature that we call the Work Site Safety Bill, which has had rave results in improving traffic and worker safety in other states. As construction and maintenance activities start to take off in all corners of the state, we ask that you please have some patience. We'll all get there, but we want to get there safely. As frustrating as road construction can be, please remember that the gentlemen, the ladies working behind me, they're somebody's mother, or dad, or uncle, or aunt, grandfather, grandmother, or just their friend. We want to make sure that they're taken care of, but at the end of the day, we want all of our workers and all of the motoring public to go home safely. We all have a responsibility to make sure that our workers and fellow drivers get home safely. With that, I'm happy to introduce Captain Ron Galaviz with one of our greatest partners in traffic safety, roadway safety, the Indiana State Police.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon, everybody. Again, I'm Captain Ron Galaviz. I'm the Chief Public Information Officer for the Indiana State Police. And we are a proud partner with both Indiana Department of Transportation and the Indiana Constructors, who's represented here by Mr. Richard Hedgecock, who you'll hear from in a moment. And not only promoting education and awareness, but also providing a traffic enforcement component to the projects that are underway to make our roadways safer for all of us to travel on, with all the hard work that these men and women that perform every day. I'd like to break down just a couple of statistics. Last year, 2022, in Indiana construction zones throughout our state, there are almost 6,400 vehicle crashes that were reported. More than 900 involved injury and 26 involved fatality. From the enforcement side, the Indiana State Police issued nearly 1,200 moving violation tickets and almost 2,500 moving violation warnings throughout the state. So as you can see, moving violations are extremely prevalent in our work zones, and it's very important for us to address those. And it's not about writing the tickets, it's about saving lives. It's about saving lives of the people that are not only traversing through those work zones, but for the men and women that are represented behind us here today, that are outside doing the work. Now, those numbers are not inclusive of any other violations such as seat belts or cell phone usage. Those are just moving violations alone. So, again, as the commissioner just mentioned, work zone safety is everyone's responsibility. We simply ask as an agency that you, as a member of the motoring public, voluntarily comply with Indiana traffic law, especially those established for work zones. So again, pay attention to your surroundings. Look out for the warning signs, the barrels, the directional signs that are provided for you well in advance of getting into a construction zone. Slow down. Give 100% of your attention to the task at hand, which should be the safe travel through that construction zone, providing a safe environment not only for those that share the road with you, but for those that are actually completing the roadway work that we take for granted every day. Pay attention to what traffic's doing around you. Take a look for construction equipment, law enforcement vehicles, and more importantly, for these folks right here. Because they're just like you and I. They want to go home at the end of the day. They deserve the same courtesy in their workplace that you demand in yours. So again, work zone safety is everyone's responsibility. Let's all do our part. I thank you very much, and with that, please let me introduce Mr. Richard Hedgecock.
I'll be fast. Everything you've heard is true. If I say anything, I'm going to repeat what you've heard from everybody so far. Since 2020, since the pandemic, we've seen speeds increase dramatically. We've seen along with that the number of crashes increase. We've seen the number of fatalities increase. It's not unique to Indiana. It's something that's happening all across the country. These people want to go home just like you do at the end of the day. More importantly, I want to talk about the traveling public. I want to talk about the things that lead to these crashes that we see in the work zones. Distracted driving is a problem. Traveling under the influence is a problem. But there's no question, at the end of the day, what kills is speed. Speed is what kills. You can take all those other things and add them all together. You put all that together in one package, it still doesn't equate to what is the main driver of what kills people in zones, and that is speed. We'll never outlaw crashes. I'd love to be able to say we can outlaw crashes. That will never occur. What we can do is stop people from killing themselves in work zones. Pay attention. Pay attention when you see those signs. Don't be doing that same route that you do every day and you get tired and you start ignoring the signs. Pay attention every day to what's going on those commutes. Send these people home safe. Send yourselves home safe. Thanks.
All right, that wraps up our event for today. Thank you all for being here, and be safe.